Good morning. Are we here? Barely. All right. This is the time for our alignment with Spirit, our meditation, our body prayer, being present and letting be. So take a deep breath and let it all out. Settle into your seat. Feel your back against the chair. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel yourself in this moment, being present and letting be. Taking another deep breath in. Letting go. Being aware of the sounds in the room. Being aware of the sensations in your body. Being aware in as non-judgmental way as you can of the thoughts that arise in your head. Thoughts, sensations, sounds, stimuli are many and varied. And if we can be aware of all this stimuli in an open and receptive way, we are being present to that which is in the here and now. So say to yourself, I am open and receptive to the living Spirit of truth, here and now. I am open. I am receptive to the living Spirit of truth, here and now. time will be over. At this time, take a moment to congratulate yourself for being dedicated to your practice, for being open and receptive. Let a small smile come to your face at the recognition of the goodness you've brought forward. Of the love that you are and of which you come. Of the beauty in this moment. We'll do a dedication of merit. May whatever good has arisen from our practice here today be dedicated to the happiness of all beings everywhere. May all beings in all times, past, present, and future, know happiness. Live this life with ease and delight. May all beings everywhere be at peace. Thank you.
Jeremy Lieber, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Deanne Morency, and it's my joy to be here as people are coming on into the sanctuary. If you're joining us on the live stream, we're really glad to have you with us, of course, as well. A little jealous, maybe, of you sitting there with your coffee, snuggled up with your cat or your dog. Good morning again. Oh, you know, it's the middle of February. How did that happen? How did that happen? If you're new to Unity, or maybe you haven't been here in a while, just welcoming you here. We're a community that is rooted and anchored in the understanding of our own divine nature. And each of us is this beautiful, magnificent, perfect, divine being. And we don't always live into that, do we? But we are that. We have that capacity. We have that potential within us. And so we come together in sacred community so that we can support each other in the revelation of our true nature and our true name, which is love, which is joy, which is peace and compassion. That is who we have all come here to be. And certainly with everything going on in our country and in the world, we need to anchor that more than ever. Right? And I know for myself, it's asking something of me to really stay rooted in what I truly believe, rather than getting caught up in the crazy appearances of our human conditions. So I know sometimes it can take a lot of energy to actually get here in person, so thank you. You expended that energy. We have an opening song that is designed to allow us to settle into the space, to give us an opportunity to unhook ourselves from whatever this week might have been, and to allow ourselves to actually truly be here in the room right now. And Jeannie is here along with Carolyn to support us as we allow ourselves to truly be right here in this very room.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to drive away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, and there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, Spirit is in this very room.
So the invitation is just continue breathing into this beautiful spaciousness that we're creating together through our agreement, through our yes, through our conscious capacity to know right here, right now, just how empowered we actually are. I'm going to invite the prayer chaplains to rise. I'm going to invite Claire Grinzel to come forward with the prayer box, and for the prayer chaplains to encircle this community, those who are here and those who are with us in consciousness. And if you identify as someone who is anchoring consciousness for this world in any way, please feel free to join as we create this sacred container together. Quieting the mind, allowing the breath. Whatever the activity has been or will be, just allowing yourself to come to a full stop. And in this space, this place, the invitation is to open the heart, deepen your understanding of just your infinite spaciousness. You contain multitude. And just welcoming this open, infinite potential, which I know is love and life and beauty and harmony. That I know is this one mind, one heart, one breath, my life, the life of each person here, the life of all who are on their way, the life of all who are in agreement, whether we know them in time and space or not. We are coming together in this place of consciousness, God consciousness, where everything is available to us as the divine beings that we are. And so into this container of love and light and connection, just feel your heart open and connect with every person here and feel it expanding and growing. Just allowing ourselves to place in this container anything we're carrying in our hearts, anything that we would like to have held from that spacious awareness of divine potential. It can be a person, it can be a situation, and please feel free to speak it into the room right now. Just knowing that whether we speak it or not, we're including all who feel afraid, or feeling all who may feel lost and overwhelmed. We are holding all who are in need of support and awareness of who they truly are. Seeing divine employment, seeing health and well-being, seeing vitality and light, seeing connection and love. Seeing harmony and peace in the midst of seeming chaos. And as we place all of that into this container, just allowing ourselves to truly know that abundance is, that love is, that there is nothing stronger nothing more powerful than oneness, and that anything that seems to stand in opposition to it is not real. It is fleeting, it is mutable, it changes, it will come and it will go, but the truth of our one beingness, this is eternal. Abundance is eternal, love is eternal. It is my being, it is your being, and it is the life of all who we know and care about, and it is the life of all we don't know. Opening our hearts to the world, to the pain of the world, and saying, love is right now. How grateful I am for this opportunity to come together in community, to anchor truth, to know love, and to know that, yes, we are that powerful. And gratitude for this and so much more. Just allowing yourself to breathe more deeply into who we know we truly are. And in agreement, we say, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated, and we'll open the doors and allow anyone who's there to come on in. And I'm going to invite our, everybody anticipates me, Carolyn Gauthier, our platform assistant.
Thank you, Reverend Deanne, for those words. And what came to my heart was that during the week, I don't hear words like peace and abundance and love and joy. Or I don't read things about, you know what I mean? And so to be able to have this place, even if you're online watching or here, to know that that is the truth, that we are love. And there are so many kinds of love in the world that we have access to if we just keep reminding ourselves. And thank you for being here and reminding each other about that. And speaking of love, yes, it is Valentine's week. There's this kind of love, as well as this kind of love, and all of them can be celebrated at the bookstore if you want to buy a card or a little something to let someone know how much you love them. We have homemade cards that are really lovely. So see Christine in the bookstore after the service. And again, welcome. If you're online, we're so happy to have you here. If you're here in person, you're all part of the welcome team. And after the service, we can go out in the courtyard, and we have a potluck every week with some food provided by Unity in Marin, and some is you all bringing things. And we prefer healthy dishes, although occasional sugar isn't bad either. And if you want to drop something off during the week, if it's too much to remember on Sunday morning, drop off some canned goods to make chili or sauces and pasta, whatever you might want to bring. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. We would love to connect with all of you in any way that is appropriate for you, including by text, 415-911-7111, and you'll get a weekly text about what's happening on Sunday. Very easy, and again, one of those reminders, right? What's real? And you can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Spread it out there on social media so more people get to read more of these good words. And last but not least, in the bulletin, there's the Spiritual Connection card, which has, if you are here for the first time, we'd love to know how to contact you. And also there is a space for a prayer request. And your prayers or your requests will be put in the box with the other prayers and really held by our prayer chaplains in our silent prayer circle. And so take advantage of that. We have a lot going on as usual, and I'll be highlighting a number of these things later, but if you want to take a quick shot of that, just so you're reminded of what is happening here, that'd be great. And we have spent a lot of time and energy honing our vision and our mission for this church. So I'd like you to state those with me. This is our vision. A world spiritually awakened and transformed through realizing our divine potential. And our mission? Unity in Marin is a loving community dedicated to spiritual growth, inclusivity, and service. We honor and care for ourselves, each other, and the natural world. And we've identified 3 core values. Let's say these together. Connectivity, living an awareness of unity with all. Inclusivity, cultivating a safe space to celebrate diversity and value the uniqueness of every person. Authenticity, being true to ourselves, our values, and spirit. Thank you. And I'd like to thank today's flower and hospitality sponsors who are often up in the balcony. I outed them. Look at the screen. Oh. Happy birthday, Brandy. 75th. Wow. Darling, you look great. And they're... Okay. Yay, Brandy. Well, and you are sharing this. Now look at the screen. Okay. We joyfully celebrate our 3rd wedding anniversary on this Valentine's Day, and also celebrating our great blessing, having found Unity's joy, peace, love, and welcoming community. Happy anniversary. And if you'd like to be a hospitality or a flower sponsor, see Charcelle. She'll be out in the breezeway. Oh, and Wendy Miley is the one who did our flowers today. So thank you, Wendy.
The flowers are really beautiful today, aren't they? I love them. So each week, I like to honor and give thanks and lift up the people who show up in service, because I was filling out something for the mortgage refi, and they said, how many volunteers do you have? And describe the projects that your volunteers work on. And I sat there and kind of figured it out. You know, we have over 100 volunteers here in Unity. It's kind of amazing. I mean, that's how we kind of roll. So we're honoring 2 groups this Sunday who were both really super useful in the past week or so. So first we're going to give thanks to Pamela Cavana and Gabrielle Javier. They showed up. We needed some support at Hamilton Montessori. They showed up at 8 a.m. to help out with some of the stuff that we had going on there. So Pamela, you're here. We're going to hold Gabrielle in our hearts. Can we give you some love for saying yes? Multiple times. Pamela came like 4 times. I don't know about you, but like 8 a.m. would mess up my meditation coffee routine big time. And then we had a big town hall meeting, and I sent out updated everyone in the email blast as to the unanimous decision that was made to authorize the board around refinancing the mortgage. And there were 3 people that really showed up to make that happen. And she's here, Debbie Sweeney, Puma, Carolyn Gauthier, and my fabulous wife, Chris Morency. I'm gonna hear about this later. Chris is gonna be like, you didn't have to do that. She's an introvert. This is horrifying for her. So we have the fabulous Josh Holmes is with us today. And I'm going to turn it over to Josh.
Hey, thank you. Hello, everybody. Hey. Hello. So Carolyn and Jeannie are going to come up and help out with this one. Oh. Are we doing this in a different order? This This was the congregational, right? This is where we all sing together?
No, this is the pre-conference.
Oh, okay. Hold on, let me get my... I'm very mercy off. My bad, sorry about that. In my pain, there inside my weakness is the seed of something greater in me, and the pain of not choosing higher, all the disappointing moments fade into God. No mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God, all fades. It all fades into God. No choice, a prisoner of anguish, in a jail of I'm so lonely, in a jail of all is lost. But the stars are shining to remind us, see beneath the darkness to change into new lives, and no mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God, all fades. It all fades into God. In God is the gravity that holds me together. In God is the orbit in which I am spinning. I see the stars and I remember to remember. Inside my pain is the sea of my strength. In God is the gravity that holds me together. In God is the orbit in which I am spinning. I see the stars and I remember to remember. Inside my pain is the seed of my strength. God is my life. In God is such excellence. All the ways that we seem to fail in God, all fade. It all fades into God. No mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail in God, all fades. It all fades into God, into God, into God.
Poems, everybody. to listen to that song on repeat, like over and over. When Josh was like, it all fades into God, I was like, oh yes, please. All the ways we seem to fail. It's been very alive for me this week. Just all the ways that it just feels like so much has broken and failed. And how do we hold that? How do we hold that? So we've been working on this 4-part series, right? We started off with abundant living, and the foundation, I really believe, of being able to stand in something is being able to understand that there is always something more, right? There's always something more. And if we can really root ourselves in that principle of abundance, then we're creating a foundation from which we can begin to step into really deeper spiritual practice. Abundance consciousness is just the start. Can you feel that? A lot of people think that's where you end. It's the start. And then last week we talked about intentional living, right? How do you live with intention? How do you actually bring your capacity to show up to everything? And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But I wanted to talk about what we're doing this week, which is conscious living. And everything builds on itself. And we can look at conscious living in a number of ways. And we are going to look at it from a place of consciousness. But there's also just the real question, right? Are you conscious? Are you paying attention? And it's hard to pay attention right now. It's hard to pay attention when we see pain and loss and suffering and injustice and inequality and othering. It's hard to pay attention. I like to retreat, and I retreat into my little Threads bubble where like everybody agrees with me. And then I have to come out again. I can't stay there. Right? I can't stay there. I have to come out again, and I have to be present to different perspectives and different understandings and different ways of being in the world. So when we talk about consciousness, there's lots of definitions for consciousness out there. And this is sort of a combination of Deepak Chopra and Charles Fillmore that I'm giving you right now, which is this idea of consciousness as awareness, as knowing, and as perception. So there's a bit of a combination of sort of modern psychology in there. It's perception, it's what you perceive, it's what you can observe. But in the spiritual context, when we're talking about consciousness, we're talking about that knowingness. Have you ever just known something? Everything around you might be telling you the exact opposite, and yet you know something. And so in Unity, what we understand is that all experience is occurring in consciousness, and that all experience is actually known in consciousness, and that all experience is made out of consciousness, and all experiences are a form of consciousness. So we will often compare this idea of oneness with consciousness. It is something that is pervasive. It is everywhere present. So there is the consciousness that in Unity, we call it the human race consciousness, collective consciousness, group think. And then there is the consciousness that we actually have some dominion over, some way of sort of growing our consciousness. So I kept coming back to our vision statement this week over and over and over again. A world spiritually awakened and transformed through realizing our divine potential. And we're talking about consciousness here. Because when we talk about consciousness in Unity, we're talking about God consciousness. We're talking about oneness. We're talking about the understanding that is bigger than just our human understanding. And don't get me wrong, I love my human understanding. It's valuable. But again, it's how do we hold that human understanding and the divine awareness simultaneously? And that's really, I believe, the spiritual practice. Jesus did this. Jesus didn't sit on a cushion. Jesus just didn't sit there experiencing oneness and oming away or shmaaing away, right? Jesus got up and he interacted and he walked with people and he impacted people and he got angry and he had doubts. This is what we're all being invited to step into, is that journey to reveal our Christ consciousness. So how awake are you really? And there's no judgment here, don't get me wrong. If you need to put your head in the sand because it is too much, you go ahead and do that. Take care of yourself. And we certainly don't want to stick our heads in the sand all the time. We can use times to recuperate ourselves, but we want to keep coming back into the world. And then the question, how do we grow our consciousness? What does that mean? How does that happen? And I'm going to come back to this idea that it's by realizing our divine potential. We are being invited again and again and again to realize the truth of who we are, and not just the truth of who we are, but the truth of who all of us are. And that includes those ice people. Oh, they are part of oneness. That includes the people who are so-called, illegals, all the language that's being thrown around right now. We are being invited to understand the divinity that we are and the divinity that everyone is. And it's challenging in a polarized world. But that's the work. We're here because that's our work. So I shared last week these steps that we're being invited to step into. Self-awareness. So if we want to grow our consciousness intentionally, we need to identify areas of growth. We need to look at the past patterns. We need to look at the challenges that anybody in here keep seeing the same stuff coming up over and over and over again. It's an opportunity to become aware of something. And then to step into a vision of what's possible. Who are you called to be? What are the qualities that would support you right now that you can cultivate? And we're not focused on an outcome, right? We're not trying to solve a problem. How do you solve a problem like Maria, right? We're not trying to do that. We are standing in a place where we're cultivating the qualities that will enable us to stand where we are right now. And then we have to listen for that inner resistance, because it's gonna come up. We're gonna hear that little voice saying, oh no, not you, honey. You can't do that, that's too big for you. Oh no, that's not your fight. Is there anything that is anybody else's? We're all in this together. Whatever this is, we're all in it together. And then what are the spiritual practices that we're gonna bring to it? What are we gonna do to heal? So a big part of realizing our divine potential is being willing to heal. And unity is a healing teaching first and foremost. And what we understand now is that we're not talking about just healing the body like Myrtle did as she healed herself of tuberculosis. We're talking about healing the wounds of our beingness that live in us and are mirrored out there in the world. So whatever it is that you see out there that you feel is broken, that is also a part of you. And this is the work that we're being invited to do. So last week we talked about affirmations and negations, right? Which are very powerful tools to begin to shift our consciousness. That we can say yes to some things, our spiritual capacity, and we can say no to the patterns that we don't want to give power anymore, that we don't want to have controlling us. How many people in here have felt that moment where fear takes over and it is making all the decisions for you, right? What a negation does is say, I see you, fear. I'm not ignoring you, but I'm not going to give you the power to hijack my life, my experience. I'm going to choose something else in this moment. So we take affirmations and negations, and if we move forward with them, we move into what Unity, I believe, New Thought's greatest gift to the world is affirmative prayer. You've heard me say this a lot, right? And affirmative prayer gives us a way to align with our true nature. And then the thing that's great about affirmative prayer is that it's not just about aligning and feeling really good. And, oh, this was lovely. And then we go outside and we feel like we got smacked upside the head by the world again. It gives us a way to consciously live from our divinity. Concrete ways that we get to show up as our divine self. And so I like to think of it as affirmative prayer is really great from moving us from problem consciousness to God consciousness, right? From our human experience to a greater understanding. So it's like we're looking for the spiritual antidote for whatever that human condition is. We want to inoculate ourselves. So we place our attention upon the spiritual antidote so that we get to shift. We get to shift something within us. And where we place our attention grows in consciousness. So if all of our attention is on our problems, if all of our attention is on what we don't have, if all of our attention is on what is wrong in the world, guess what? That just is growing in our consciousness. So what if instead we anchored qualities that we know we are and we know other people are? What if we anchor wisdom and strength and love and joy and power and life and releasing? Ooh, do we need to do a lot of releasing? So I have done many talks on affirmative prayer, right? So I'm just going to focus really quickly on what I call the heart of affirmative prayer, which is three things. God is, I am, therefore I can. Everybody say that.
God is, I am, therefore I can.
All right, so we identify a spiritual quality that God is: strength, love, joy, peace, wisdom. We know we're not separate from it. So that means I am strength, love, peace, joy, wisdom. And if that's true, what can I do in time and in space? What can I do to be the living presence of joy, love, strength? Right? Because as we realize our divine nature, that allows us to live from an expanded consciousness. So here's some examples of what that can look like, right? If God is wisdom, that means I am wisdom, and therefore I can choose wisely and well. I can discern clearly because I have that capacity. If God is strength and I am strength, that means I have the ability to be strong and steadfast, to have courage and tenacity. Can you feel this? Right? Can you feel how it goes from being this sort of abstract idea to something you can actually be and do and activate? If God is love and I am love, I can open my heart freely, speak compassionately. Even when I'm angry, even when I'm frustrated, I can still be love. If God is joy and I am joy, this one I need right now. And next week we're going to talk about joy, living a joyful life, right? I can be lighthearted and have fun. If God is power and I am power, I can be powerful. I can have self-mastery, because that's what unity means by power, self-mastery. And I can speak truth, and I can change the world. Can you feel how we take something that sort of lives up here, or even here, and we make it something that we can actually embody in time and in space? This is how we shift our consciousness And because there's only one consciousness, as I shift my consciousness, guess what? I am shifting consciousness, period, end of story. And sometimes it can really feel like a heavy lift, and that's because the human race consciousness is struggling. And I am being called to anchor something that creates a place of possibility for others to be able to breathe into and to feel into. I often think about Emma Curtis Hopkins and Myrtle and Charles and those early founders of New Thought. They were carving something in consciousness that I am a recipient of. I'm standing on all the work they did to shift something for everyone, and now I get to move it to the next level. That's what we're here to be and do. To keep expansion is happening, whether, what do I say, get on board or get dragged. Expansion is happening, always happening. We are being invited to grow always. So Myrtle said it this way, and this is our method of prayer: acknowledging our oneness with God, claiming the ability that this gives, and expecting to have the things needed and conducive to spiritual progress. Notice how she doesn't say, expect to have the things you asked for show up for you. She says, expect the things needed and conducive to spiritual progress, to your tapping in to the spiritual truth of who you are. So if you want to know more about the prayer process, I wrote a whole book on it with Linda Martella-Whitsitt, who was the vice president in charge of Silent Unity for many, many years. We are doing an online class in March, so you might want to save the date if you're interested in exploring that more. Christine in the bookstore has ordered some of my books. If you don't have it already, if you want to get one, make sure you touch base with her. And then if you've never been to the Village, come. So Linda and I are going to be doing an immersive prayer retreat at Unity Village, July 9th through the 13th. And you can find out more information about that online as well. So if the idea of dancing with this prayer process is something that really speaks to you, there are ways you can grow your capacity, right? There are ways that you can develop that. Okay. So affirmative prayer provides us with a tool to align with our divine identity rather than our human experience. Can you feel that, right? We're moving from problem consciousness to God consciousness. And as we awaken to the truth of who we truly are, that's the growth in consciousness. We started this talk with, how do we grow consciousness? I honestly don't know a better path than through the process of affirmative prayer, right? To grow yourself in consciousness. Now, I'm going to offer this just so that you might have a container for yourself, because we talk about consciousness and we talk about growing consciousness. And so Unity has a model, New Thought has a model, where we talk about the 4 stages of evolving consciousness. These are not linear. They nest inside each other. But what we have are victim consciousness, where we think everything is happening to me. Anybody in here ever feel like that? We have what we call victor or manifestor consciousness, which is when we think everything happens by me. I made that happen. I'm gonna do it, right? And then we have channel consciousness, or sometimes called vessel consciousness, where things happen through me. So when you hear people say, I don't know, I got this download, right? That I should X, Y, or Z, right? That's an example of channel consciousness. Can you feel that? Like something happening through me. And then we have Christ Buddha consciousness, which we would say as me. And the victim and the victor are fear-based, they're problem-based. They're trying to solve a problem. And as we move into channel and Christ consciousness, we are more faith-based. We are more vision and God consciousness. So in this victim to me, right, we might hear like the spiritual tools that people use in victim consciousness might be petitionary prayer. God, help me, please. Whatever you want, I'll do. Just make this go away. Anybody here ever done that? Or the why me on the bathroom floor? That was me at one point in time. We might have a lot of negative self-talk, right? All we hear and repeat and over and over and over and over again is all this negative self-talk. You're not, of course they did that to you because you are horrible. You're such an idiot. Why did you do that? I can't believe how stupid you were, right? You deserved that, whatever that is. And then we blame other people. It wasn't my fault, the opposite, right? It wasn't my fault. I had nothing to do with this. You know, if they hadn't done this, I wouldn't feel so bad about myself. If only they would change, then I could be happy. So there's an appearance of no control. External forces are in control. So when we're in victim consciousness, because remember, these are all happening simultaneously. You've all experienced this, right? Sometimes you're feeling on top of the world, and then somebody says something, and like all of a sudden you're like, right back into victim consciousness. Like, what? What do you mean? Why are you doing that to me? So we move through all of these throughout our day. So when we find ourselves in victim consciousness, it's like, okay, I'm going to give up the shame. I'm going to give up the blame. Right? And we're going to move into some spiritual practices that will help us with feeling more as if we have some empowerment. And that would be victor consciousness, right? Where things happen by me. And so this is where we start to begin to use affirmative prayer. This is where affirmations and visualizing things and creating vision boards. How many people in here do the vision boards? Right? That's about manifestor consciousness. I want to create this, and I'm going to do it. Right? It's very American, by the way. Very American, this victor by me, pull yourself up, I'm the one who does it all. And we're so terrified of becoming a victim again that we can be very rigid, very fixed in our perspectives. And that is when we find ourselves feeling like that, when we find ourselves feeling like, and sometimes it's exhausting, right? Okay, I got to do this. I'm the one who has to, I'm the only one who can. We need to take a breath and be like, okay, it's time to give up control. It's time to give up my sense of power, because my sense of power is not rooted in my spiritualness. My sense of power is rooted in my ego. And that can move us into channel, where things are happening through me. So we feel like we're a vessel for spirit. Not I, but God that does the work, yes? The practices that we get to step in here are visioning. Meditation is big when people are in channeling. When people are in this consciousness, they like to spend a lot of time meditating, right? Mindset of openness, a mindset of receptivity. We're very teachable at this time, right? We're very teachable. So we might find ourselves grabbing at all kinds of ideas because like we're teachable, we're excited, we're adventurous, we're curious. We might have beginner's mind in this space. And so this time is an opportunity to give up any sense of separation. Because when we think we're a channel, we think we're a channel for something that isn't us. We are a vehicle for something that isn't me. And what we're being invited into is to give up even that to give up even that sense that there's any kind of separation happening. And that would bring us into, so meditation, I wanted to talk about these two things this week, right? Meditation, how I understand this, is meditation is the receptive experience of the divine. It's all about surrender, quieting, stilling, being. And affirmative prayer is the activated experience of the divine. It's empowerment. And we want both. We want to meditate and surrender, and we want to step into affirmative prayer and activate the divinity that we are. And it's this dance that we get to be in And as we're doing this dance, we might notice we lean a little bit too much into affirmative prayer and the activation of things, and we become very materialistic focused. Or we might lean too much into the receptive experience of the divine, and we're not actually doing something in time and in space. So there's a dance in there. And that dance brings us to the Christ consciousness. When we find that sweet spot, right? Even anybody just experience it for a moment, right? That moment of, oh. And then, you slip into another stage of consciousness, at least I do. So it's the experience of the divine mind, of being one, right? And it's the opportunity to just continue experiencing and being limitless consciousness, right? So what I thought for this week, what the practices could be is that just notice throughout your day where you're orienting in consciousness. Are you in victim consciousness? Are you in manifestor consciousness? Are you in channel? Are you in Christ consciousness? Where, and then knowing what will help you. If you're in victim consciousness, reach for an affirmation. If you're in manifestor consciousness, catch the vision of the God idea rather than your idea. If you're in channel consciousness, just be with the capacity to obliterate any sense of separation and to know the I am that you actually are. But we want to bring consciousness to how it is that we're moving through our day. We're not bringing judgment. Does everybody hear me? There is nothing wrong with being in victim consciousness. Everybody say it. Okay, now really say it. Really say it. It's part of our human experience. Don't fight it, don't judge it, don't make it wrong, don't make it bad. Just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge it, right? And just be willing to keep looking to how we can expand and grow in our consciousness. Sometimes we gotta be focused on the material. Is it okay to be focused on the material? Absolutely, right? We need to feed, clothe, we need material stuff. So, there is no judgment for any of these, because can you see the little nesting thing I did, right? They live in you all the time. It's not like linear, you move from one to the other. They're all active and available to you in any given moment. So when you're in victim, just know Christ consciousness is available to you. And when you're in Christ consciousness, bring that compassionate awareness and know that victim consciousness is always going to be available to you too. And then identify those areas of growth, right? Bring that self-awareness and that discernment and that vision and meditation, right? Step into a place where you're actually beginning to listen to that inner wisdom that will tell you exactly where you get to place your attention right now. And then discover your own divinity. Use those spiritual principles. Practice affirmations. Use negations. I have to say the most underused spiritual tool in New Thought is negations. You use them. Claim that those things that are active as your life have no more power over you. Step into that place. Emma Curtis Hopkins would call it the emphatic no. No. And then practice affirmative prayer. Practice meditation, right? So that you are consciously engaging with your own personal journey of growth and expansion. That's what it means to live a conscious life. We're never done. We are always looking, we're always exploring, we're always questioning, we're always saying what's next. I'm constantly amazed on social media. You'll see somebody post something and they mean it with the best of intentions, but they have such blinders that they don't understand how whatever they posted, the impact of how that lands. And those are places that in some ways we want to get excited about, oh, somebody's showing me the door that I didn't even know existed. Somebody's showing me a blind spot. I get to grow into that. But we have to be willing to step into this process of saying yes, yes, yes to this and no to that, right? Remember, everything you say yes to is the equivalent of an unlimited number of no's, right? Everything you say yes to means you're saying no to other things. We don't like that. That makes us very uncomfortable. We want to keep all our options open. But we need to stand in what you can always change your mind, right? You can always change your mind. So let's take this into a time of meditation. Let's take this into a space where we're willing to allow ourselves to just listen. Where am I being invited to grow? Where am I being invited to understand my true nature and my true name? Where am I being invited to meet myself in healing those wounds of otherness and separation? Where is it within ourselves that we are being invited to turn the light of our divinity on, to illuminate something that may have served us, it may never have served us, but maybe it did serve us. But at this moment, we are saying yes to understanding our true potential. What is the vision that you are called to be? What are you being invited to pay attention to? Let's just breathe into that for a minute or so as we rest here listening in the silence. And as we listen to where it is we are being invited to pay attention, to grow, to step out of our comfort zone, just open to the spiritual gifts and capacities that you already own. What can you bring? What can you cultivate? What is yours to do to activate in time and in space with conscious choice? Maybe you need to release a lot of old ideas. Maybe you need to share your creativity and your joy. Maybe you need to share your voice, to speak truth, to be the place, the space where the true nature of love and light and peace and compassion come together in a way that is uniquely you. And just breathing into this and knowing God is, I am, and therefore I can expand my understanding. I can realize my divine potential. I can be a place of healing for the world. And gratitude for this awareness and so much more. I invite you to know with me that it is done by saying, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. So the affirmation today, I'll say it first. God is, I am, therefore I can awaken to my divine nature and expand in consciousness. Can we know this together? God is, I am, therefore I can awaken to my divine nature and expand in consciousness. And so it is. Amen.
I have plans. One power, one power, one power. There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. There's one power, indescribable, and you speak it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord. Call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you, in me. One power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages. We speak so many languages of different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul and it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power in you and me. One power, one power, one power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nation. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby. The serenity in sleep. It's the anger we abandon for the love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power.
Say it with us. One power.
It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. The power of the love in you and everybody sing it with me. One power, come on. One power. One power. I want to hear you all sing it. Come on. One power. One power. Heal me and every day is one power. It's the power of the love in you and me. In you and me. One power.
Yes, I believe it. I believe it. Yes, yes, thank you. Whew, wow. So if you would like to delve more deeply into what Reverend Deanne talked about today, or any Sunday afterwards, there's a tent over there. You just go circle up under the tent and continue discussing what you have been learning here. It's very powerful. We also have a couple of announcements. The prayer chaplains are having an orientation today. It'll be in the Fillmore Room, which is the first door on the right as you go down the hall at noon. And if you want to know anything about affirmative prayer, about what the prayer chaplains do, if you're interested in becoming a prayer chaplain, if you're feeling that call, just show up, see if it fits for you. They'd be happy to have you there. We have a class coming up. Cindy Acker, Dr. Cindy Acker is going to be teaching it. Do you want to stand? So in case anyone doesn't recognize you. This is also starting today. It's going to be Getting Real with Race, and part of the film Roots is going to be shown. And if you have any questions about what that might be like or what you'll experience, please talk to Cindy, and it'll be going on for 6 weeks. Is that right? Yeah. So I think that you can start today or drop in as you want to. Right. Okay. Thank you, Cindy. And very soon the ushers are going to be coming forward. If you haven't received your giving statement for 2024, you can contact someone in the office so you have that for your taxes. Yes, you can write it off. And there are many ways to give through our church app, the QR code for those of you online, the envelope in your bulletin, or snail mail. And inside the bulletin with a spiritual connection card I mentioned earlier, you could take that now, tear it off, and drop it in the basket. So ushers, if you would come forward, we're going to all state together our offering affirmation. I am the power of abundance, giving and receiving gratefully. And so it is. And Josh is going to come up with one more song, and Jeannie and I are going to join him for this. The Spirit of God is upon me.
Cindy knows this one. Come up, Tina. Come on. Hey. Yeah. We know the song, right? No. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. The Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa. The Spirit of God is upon me. I used to think that I had to. I used to think that I should. Then the scripture told me that I had to be good. Now I love 'cause I want to. I love because I'm free, blinded by the Spirit. Oh Lord, the Spirit of God is upon me. Come on. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh,
know what that is? Zeal! Yeah, I'm working on that this year. Thank you, Josh. So good to have you here. Woo! Jeremy, the man who can play all kinds of music. And thanks to our tech team who make us sound and look good up there too. And thanks to all of you who have given to our, well, I'm for singing it, so yes. But also who have given to our Heritage Corner, and it's going to be unveiled, revealed. We'll get to see all of those pavers that we've been talking so much about and supporting Unity in that way. Next week will be the unveiling. Deanne, do you want to talk about your class in Sacramento that's coming up?
Yes. Just very briefly, if you're interested in knowing more about the development of New Thought and Unity, I teach for what's called the urban school, the urban ministry school. There's several different ways that you can become a licensed minister within Unity. And so I am teaching in collaboration. I do this in collaboration with Unity of Sacramento. The classes are only in person. Instead of being held over 5 weeks, we do them as 2 Saturdays. So they're intensives. So if anybody would like to join, you can look on our website, but you got to go to Sacramento. And you got to register through Unity of Sacramento.
All right, and James, if you stand up for a second, everybody knows him. He has the monthly spiritual movie night at Mojo Dojo in Mill Valley. So if you want to know more about that, see James. And would the Unity Marin prayer chaplains please stand? You see these wonderful people wearing the white scarf or stole. They are here to pray with you and to hold you in prayer, to show you affirmative prayer and show you your divinity that you are and that you are manifesting. Everything is held in confidence and it's a wonderful experience, so give yourself a treat today. And I think we have the kids coming in today, is that right? Sometimes they get so involved in their art space that they just disappear into it, so but we'll give the blessing.
We're going to hold them, right? So we're going to invite everyone to rise. We're going to hold the youth that is here working creatively, the youth in our hearts, the youth of the world. Yeah, just any of the youth that are feeling a lot of fear right now. There's a lot of fear within the youth of this country and of this planet right now. So we're just going to hold all of it, and we're going to know this together. You are the perfect expression of divine light. We love you exactly the way you are.
A prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. Light, the presence of God. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. Where I am the presence of God, wherever we are, God is. And you know that because God has a sense of humor, and therefore I have a sense of humor, therefore I can laugh.
Prayer of protection with consciousness or just by rote, right?
Let's sing our final song together.